Okay, how about this? Wolf, do you like football?
I do, as a matter of fact.
Do you like Calais Campbell rejoining the Arizona Cardinals?
This is one of the best stories ever. This is it right here. We get these stories all the time, right, Basinonians, of guys who have had long careers in sports, and they come back and they sign this very ceremonial contract. Mm-hmm. They sign it, and yet it's just to end their career as a player for that team.
Just to kind of
whatever
be honored.
team that might be.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Hey, listen, I started my career here. I identify as a Cardinal, whatever it may be, as a Chicago Bear, as a Dallas Cowboy, and I just wanted to end my career with the team by signing a contract. Very ceremonial. Mm-hmm. This is nothing like that. Calais Campbell is still incredibly productive for a guy who's almost 40 years old, and he's coming home after playing 9 seasons with the Arizona Cardinals. Come home, son.
He was a fan favorite when he was here. Even if it was what you just said, okay, Calais is retiring, but he's going to come back and retire a Cardinal. I wouldn't even be upset with that, but you're right. That's not what this is. For anybody that kind of didn't follow him as much once he left Arizona, his most productive seasons actually were after he left Arizona. He had a stretch with 2 years with Jacksonville, and you may not have noticed because it was Jacksonville, but he had 25 sacks over 2 years. And to your point, Wolf, even at the experience he's at now and how long he's played in this league, his last 3 years he's put up 5.5, 6.5, and 5 sacks. So it's not like he's just going to be here to wave to people and be like, "Hey, remember me? I used to play here."
Yep.
Like, this is a guy that is going. 6.5 sacks 2 years ago would have been number one on the Cardinals.
Yes.
5 sacks last year would have been up there.
Yes.
So this is a guy who, he's not going to come in here and get 14.5 sacks, but he's going to be a guy that was brought in to produce.
Yes. This is one of the best stories ever. There are so many facets of Calais Campbell. There are so many things about this guy that I absolutely love and respect. I'm going to start with the person himself. This is one of the best dudes you're ever going to want to come across at any point in time. I think, honestly, if I there are 2 people that I think of immediately, and I hope I don't offend anyone by saying this, but there are 2 people. If I had to have my family get from point A to point B, from one area to the next area, and I wasn't around to do it, I'd ask Lorenzo Alexander or Calais Campbell, those 2 guys to take care of my family and make sure that they get from point A to point B.
Probably pretty good choices, to be honest.
I'm just saying, those 2 men right there are some squared away dudes. I just love Calais. This is awesome. He's coming back. Listen, not only is this a rotational depth move by the Arizona Cardinals, but this guy is a starter still.
Yeah.
He is. He's still a guy that you could line up at that 5 technique. You could kick him down as a 3 technique as well. This is still a guy that is highly productive. His physicality alone, the sheer size of him and his physicality, and then when you consider his mentality and how he's built. Remember, when he came in the league in Miami as pick number 50 overall. Now, okay, it's not 104, but it was 50.
Yeah.
Still, pick number 50 overall.
It's actually earlier than 104.
And when you think about it, the knock on Calais Campbell and the reason why he wasn't a first-round pick is because he didn't have a motor. He didn't have a motor. That's what they said about him. He didn't have a motor, and sometimes he gets nicked up. This guy, this guy.
17 years later.
Are you kidding me? This guy is the definition of destroying a scouting report. Calais Campbell, his mentality and the motor that he brings. And then, can I just say this? The professionalism of Calais Campbell as well. Men, when he walks into that locker room, I can tell you right now, heads are going to snap up. Not only because of how big he is, of course, but because of the respect that so many guys have in the locker room for a guy that played as long as he has in the league and still is productive, still getting it done. The professionalism, the mentor and the mentees. These young guys, hey, Darius Robinson, get in his back pocket. Could you see Darius Robinson getting in the back pocket of Calais Campbell? I could. And you know what? Calais is going to lead that that young group of guys that they have on this team. He's going to lead that group.
So I'm looking at this. January 1st of 2017 was Calais Campbell's last game as an Arizona Cardinals. Last season was the 2016 season, but they played one game.
Say that to me again.
January 1st of 2017 was his last game as an Arizona Cardinal. Meanwhile, you also had going Shelby Miller pick up his first win as a Diamondback since April 18th of 2017.
Yeah.
So we just went back like 8.5 years yesterday is basically what happened. But everything you're saying about Calais Campbell is right because, and we can get more into this later, but I mean, if you look at the depth they have on defense now, I'm looking at a depth chart. I'm just looking at ESPN just kind of as a, to see where they put everybody. Like they have Josh Sweat and Darius Robinson and BJ Ojulari not even as starters, and Zaven Collins not even. Now, obviously, those guys are the starters.
Come on,
but that's what they have done to address their front four. Now it's talk about a rotation and how successful that has been for Jonathan Gannon and Nick Rallis. They have players now up front.
Man, incredible. You know what is the matter? Let's do this, Rick, right now. Go ahead. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Are you talking to me? Calais Campbell. Yeah, Calais. Ray. Spect. Coming home. Ray. Spect. Building your home on the shores of the Red Sea. Yeah, Calais. Bah.
How do you really feel about it? Like, don't hold back.
Okay, then see, I got that out. Now I feel so much better, Basinonians. I got that out. Look, I do believe he will be a starter. I do believe that. I see him as a starter. He's going to be a rotational guy. The defensive line is suddenly a strength.
Yeah, suddenly
on this team.
A lot of guys. So I'm just reading through some of them out because
Dalvin Tomlinson. You forget Dalvin Tomlinson is on your team.
Calais. I mean, a lot of these guys I think people forget are on the team because they were hurt. So you've got Calais, you've got Bilal Nichols, Dalvin Tomlinson, Justin Jones, Darius Robinson, Josh Sweat, LJ Collier, Zaven Collins, BJ Ojulari.
Dante Stills, too.
I didn't even
Dante Stills. Guy was a primary rotational guy last year. It's West Virginia. It's West Virginia, the pride of every mountaineer.
We're going to test your musical range.
So good, man. I'm jacked up. This is a great signing.
You might look at this and be like, well, how are they going to use all these guys? This is what Jonathan Gannon likes on defense. He likes to have a bunch of these guys where you can just run them through. This is what worked in Philly when he was there. It still works in Philly now. Nick Rallis was there. This is what works for him. Now, are there some of these guys you look at and say, okay, I'm expecting a lot from Josh Sweat. I'm expecting a lot from Darius Robinson. Yeah. Statistically, am I expecting more from them than I am from Calais Campbell? Yeah. But, I mean, I just read you his stats. He's usually good for about five or six sacks a season. And by the way, his last 2 years, years 16 and 17 in the NFL, where you're like, oh, he's probably breaking down.
Right.
He's played 17 out of 17 games and 17 out of 17 games.
Listen, he's never played fewer than 12 games in an NFL season, if I'm not mistaken. He's never played fewer than 12. There were 2 years, one year he played 12. The other year he played 13, I believe.
Yeah. And the 12 was 2020.
Yeah.
Which was a kind of a weird year anyway. I don't know what the circumstances were for him. But yeah, I mean, you go back the last few years. 17, 17, 14, 15, that 12, 16, 16, 16, 16, 16. Like
knock it off.
The dude plays every game. For the most part, he plays every game.
But you know what? He lacks a motor. Oh my
And he gets nicked up too much.
Seriously, he gets nicked up. Yeah.
Who looks at Calais Campbell and they're like, yeah, you'll probably get nicked up too much. You're only 7 feet tall and 350 pounds.
The definition of destroying a scouting report.
I'm exaggerating.
Calais Campbell.
But really not by that much. What is he? 6'8", 282. Okay, that's not 7 foot 350. I think I was describing Shaq.
Thanks for watching Wolf and Luke. Tap to see more and click the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.